time for part 2 of my video on the Elecraft KX3 Transceiver. It was a bit of a pain getting it together. One of the reasons it was a pain, not because of the instructions that Elecraft gave. They were very, very good, as you will see as we scan through some of the pictures. The reason it was difficult is I'm not very mechanical. I'm a mechanical idiot. Some of you may call me an idiot of a different type, but I will admit to being a mechanical idiot. Although there is one mechanical thing I do like, and that's my trusty Simpson 260. I don't trust digital voltmeters. They have too many parts inside them that go wrong. So when I check the voltages, I check it with a Simpson 260. Almost sounds like a commercial. Well, I hope you like taking a look at how I put together the Elecraft KX3. There are many others who do videos that are a lot better than mine, but mine has sort of a common man approach, not one of these more esoterical geniuses that can put together any kind of piece of equipment. So for the average Joe, or in this case the average Bert, you will see how I put it together through a series of pictures and commentary. This is the most important page in the manual. Make sure you have the right screw in the right location by measuring it. I took the screws out and I measured them against the figure to be sure. You have to be sure. Well, let the games begin. To your left, you see the assembly manual, very nicely printed and easy to read. And then on the other side is the operation manual. So let's get started. We have the circuit boards all packed up in static-free bags to prevent them from being damaged by static electricity. And then there are other parts bags all labeled very well. Some of the pieces are not so tiny, but some are, and here are just a few of them laid out, all nicely wrapped in some nice plastic cellophane. Generally, the parts bags are associated with major areas of construction, so it's fairly easy to find which bag you need for which area of construction. Every one of those little holes and cavities have to be filled, and it looks like it's gonna be a lot of work. I thought it might be a good idea to get a little plastic container to hold the little parts, because there was a lot of little parts. The labeling that Elecraft provided was generally quite good, and everything in its own place and own bag. It is important to read the entire step before you do that step. And if you notice, you look at the instruction book, there are arrows pointing to every area that you need to do something on. But once again, important to read the entire step before you do anything. Everything has to fit. If it doesn't seem to fit, there's a problem. If the screw is too short, you picked up the wrong screw. If the screw is too long and you use it, it may work, but then you're going to be missing a screw somewhere else. ESD procedures are very important. You grab the circuit boards by the edges. Don't touch anything else. Also, if you're not using a circuit board at the time, store it on a static-free bag. Notice how each assembly in each bag is marked quite well. And in fact, you'll notice the label in the center. It says this sub-assembly packed by Austin. And also notice, besides Jacob and Austin, there was Dinah, or is it Dina? Notice how specific the directions are in the figure. It gives you the type of screw, the type of washer, and every place you should put it. That BNC connector that you see the rear of was a real pain. There's another word I'd like to use to get installed. We're getting close to the end now. The battery holders are about to be installed, and this is one area that Elecraft didn't do too well in, because the screws that they had for us to use were 1/4 inch, but you're never going to get that in with a 1/4 inch screw. Only after I went on their site did I find out that there had been an addendum a couple of days after I received the KX3, and they did include longer screws, which did allow me to install this. Well, in theory, you don't need a voltmeter, but when you install the cable to power the KX3, it's a good idea to check to make sure positive voltage is where it's supposed to be. Well, it's time to get it on the air. Although I didn't have a problem when I first tried to turn it on, I hit the wrong two buttons and I thought the thing was dead. It does pay to read the instructions a little more carefully. So I made a number of contacts on the first couple of days, some on sideband, some on voice, some in the US and some DX. And it was nice to have the extra amount of power, the 12 watts instead of 5 watts that most QRP rigs have. So, on the air. Well, I haven't been able to get all the features to work, but most of them I have. I just need to probably read the instructions a little bit better. However, one of the problems I did have, if you turn the volume up, it doesn't sound quite so good. So you've got to be a little bit careful about that, and I've noticed that other people have had the same problem. So I don't know if that's something that Elecraft needs to address. But here's what it sounds like when you turn the volume all the way up.
Lighthouse, this is the Cape May Lighthouse, Cape May, New Jersey, calling CQ. Hello, CQ International Lighthouse. Hello, CQ, CQ, CQ. CQ Lighthouse. November 2, Charlie, Mike Charlie, calling CQ Lighthouse and standing by for a call.
So we've come a long way from my first rig, the DX40, that I started with in 1959. Things have changed just a little bit. In a following video, I will go over operation of the KX3 because there's a lot to it and you'll see how it works. I haven't figured out everything, but I'm working on it, and when I finish working on it or when I get closer, you will see the next part in my series.